I'm a test subject for a memory-enhancing drug. It's working. I now remember the lead scientist being the one who caused my original amnesia. The memory didn't drift back gently like they said it would, a soft focus scene from a lost movie. It came in a flash, a neurological bolt of lightning that left me gasping against my pillow in the middle of the night. It was a shard of glass in my mind. The smell of wet asphalt after a sudden downpour. The high-pitched, frantic squeal of tires on slick pavement. And then his face. Dr. Eris Thorne. Not the calm, paternal face that visits me every morning, the one framed by distinguished silver hair, but a version of him distorted by panic and the flashing red and blue of emergency lights reflecting in his glasses. He was there, at the accident. No, that's not right. He wasn't just at the accident. The memory is a raw, jagged thing, and it leaves me breathless, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. He was the accident. My room is all soft whites and muted grays, a space meticulously designed to be calming, to be unstimulating. There's a single sealed window that looks out onto a manicured lawn I'm not allowed to walk on yet. The air hums with the quiet, constant thrum of the ventilation system, and it always smells faintly of antiseptic and clean linen. For the past 6 weeks, this room has been my entire world, a safe, sterile cocoon where I was supposed to be healing from a tragic, random event. That's what they called it. That's what he told me, his voice dripping with a practiced sympathy that now makes my skin crawl. He told me I was lucky to be alive. Lucky to be here at the Ethelred Institute under his care. The door to my room hisses open, and there he is, Dr. Thorne. He's tall, immaculate in his crisp lab coat over a tailored shirt, and he's wearing that smile, the one that seems precision-engineered to inspire trust, to soothe a troubled mind. My mind. "Alex," he says. His voice is smooth, reassuring baritone that I used to find comforting. "Good morning. How are we feeling today? Any new flickers?" He always calls them flickers, little sparks of memory in the vast darkness of my missing past. It's his favorite term. It makes my recovery sound delicate, magical even. I have to force my own smile. It feels like a crack in a porcelain mask, fragile and fake. My throat is tight and I have to swallow before I can speak. "A little," I lie, keeping my voice as steady as I can manage. "Just colors, blurry shapes, nothing solid yet." The lie tastes like ash in my mouth. The memory of his face, wild-eyed and terrified in the strobing lights, is the most solid thing I've known for weeks. I want to scream at him. I want to launch myself across the room and see if that calm, benevolent expression shatters. But I can't. He has all the power here. I am patient 7, a blank slate he is generously helping to rewrite. And if he knows that I know, what would he do? Would the treatment stop? Would something worse happen? Would he just erase me again, this time for good? He steps closer and extends a hand. I flinch, just a little, but I manage to cover it by shifting my weight on the bed. I take his hand. His grip is firm, warm, and dry. It feels like the hand of a healer, a protector. I try not to imagine it gripping a steering wheel, wrenching it to the side. I pull my own hand back a little too quickly. He raises a single silver eyebrow, a flicker of something in his eyes. Not concern, but analysis. "Easy, son," he says, his voice unchanged. "The neural pathways are still reconnecting. Dizziness and heightened emotional responses are to be expected." He has a clinical, logical explanation for everything. He's a fortress of placid reassurances. A moment later, a nurse I know only as Lena comes in. She's efficient, her movements economical, and she never makes eye contact for more than a second. She carries a small paper cup holding a single blue capsule and a glass of water. She's just part of the machinery of this place. "Time for your dose, Alex," Thorne says, his smile returning as he takes the cup from her. "Cognitropin, our little miracle worker." He watches me as I take the pill from his hand, our fingers brushing for a terrifying instant. He watches my throat, the bob of my Adam's apple as I swallow, as if to confirm it's truly gone down. Every day for the past month, I've taken this pill with a desperate sense of hope. Today, it feels like swallowing poison from my captor's hand. But it's also my only weapon. It's the key. It's working. They leave, the door hissing shut behind them, leaving me in the humming silence. The manufactured calm of the room is a mockery now. It's not a sanctuary, it's a cage, and the bars are made of kindness and lies. The man who broke my mind is now pretending to fix it, and I have to let him. I have to lie back on this sterile bed, smile my grateful broken smile, and thank him for the very medicine that is revealing his monstrous betrayal. I close my eyes, not to rest, but to hunt. I have to go back. Back to the rain, the squealing tires, the flashing lights. I have to remember everything. My life depends on it. It doesn't take long. The cognitropin has a signature. A slow, creeping warmth that starts at the base of my skull and spiders its way forward, a tingling pressure behind my eyes. It used to feel like a promise, like the gentle hum of a machine powering up. Now it feels like a violation, an invasive chemical unlocking doors in my mind that Thorne himself bolted shut. I focus on the sensation, letting it guide me. I push past the static of my manufactured present and reach for the jagged edges of that night. The smell comes first. Always the smell. Rain-soaked earth and the metallic tang of ozone. Then the sound. Not the tires this time, but something new. A sharp clatter on wet pavement. Plastic and glass on asphalt. The image floods in. Another high-resolution frame inserted into the broken film of my memory. I'm not in a car. I'm on the ground. On my side, my cheek pressed against the cold, gritty surface of the road. The flashing lights aren't just red and blue, but a dizzying, nauseating strobe that paints the scene in violent, unnatural colors. My head is screaming, a deep, thrumming agony that drowns out almost everything else. But I can see one thing with perfect, terrifying clarity. A phone, lying shattered on the road just inches from my face. Its screen is a spiderweb of cracks, but it's still lit, casting a pale, ghostly light. And kneeling beside it, his hand outstretched but hesitating, is Eris Thorne. His face is a mask of pure, unadulterated panic. His mouth is open, but the sound is lost in the ringing in my ears. No, wait, I can hear it. A single, ragged whisper, forced out between breaths. No, not like this. I gasp, a real, audible gasp, and my eyes fly open. The pristine, white ceiling of my room swims into focus. The antiseptic air fills my lungs. My heart is a frantic drum against my ribs, and a cold sweat slicks my skin. The memory was so real I can almost still feel the gravel digging into my cheek. He was there. He knelt beside me. He saw my face, saw me broken on the pavement, and his first thought wasn't to help me. It was something else. Not like this. What did that mean? Like, what was it supposed to be? The thought sends a tremor of a new, colder fear through me. This wasn't just an accident he caused and then covered up. This was planned. A planned event that went wrong? The door hisses open again, startling me so badly I physically jolt on the bed. It's Lena, the nurse, holding a tray with a glass of juice and a small protein bar, the mid-morning snack, part of the routine. Everything here is about routine, about building a predictable, stable world around my broken mind. I realize now it's not for my stability, it's for their control. She places the tray on the bedside table, her movements as clipped and precise as always. She still won't meet my eyes, focusing instead on adjusting the placement of the glass by a few millimeters. She's a ghost in a uniform, a functionary. Or is she? Lena, I say. My voice is hoarse. She flinches, the slightest tightening of her shoulders, surprised that I've spoken to her directly. Usually, I just nod. She looks up, and for the first time, her eyes, a pale, washed-out blue, meet mine for a full second. There's nothing there. Or, more accurately, she's showing me nothing. It's a carefully blank expression. Is Dr. Thorne a good doctor? I ask, trying to sound like a lost, confused patient, a man grasping for straws of reassurance. It's a test, a clumsy, desperate one, but it's all I have. Her gaze immediately drops back to the tray. Dr. Thorne is the head of this institute, she says, her voice flat, a recitation of fact. He is the best in his field. There's no warmth, no conviction. It's a line she's been given. She turns to leave. I know I should stop, that pushing is dangerous, but I can't. He seems to care a lot, I add, my voice trailing off. She pauses at the door, her back to me. For a moment, I think she's going to say something else, something real. But then she just pushes the button and the door slides shut, leaving me alone with the juice, the protein bar, and the chilling echo of Thorne's words. The best in his field. My jailer. My would-be murderer? The protein bar suddenly looks inedible. My entire existence here, this gentle, therapeutic recovery, is a lie. It's a stage play, and I'm the only actor who didn't know he was in it. Until now. I stare at the protein bar, a dense, brown rectangle of engineered nutrition. It's supposed to rebuild me, to give my body the fuel my healing brain needs, but all I see is another piece of the set dressing, a prop in the elaborate play of my recovery. My stomach churns. I push the tray away, the glass of juice sloshing precariously. The simple act feels like a rebellion, the first real decision I've made in months. Before, my actions were guided by a fog of confusion and a desperate trust in Thorne. Now, every choice is a potential move on a chessboard I'm only just beginning to understand. I am not a patient. I am a prisoner. And prisoners don't just lie down and wait. They study the walls, they test the locks, they look for a way out. My heart hammers against my ribs as I swing my legs off the bed. The floor is cool and smooth beneath my bare feet. I've walked these floors 100 times, to the bathroom, to the small, manicured garden, but I've never just walked out on my own. The thought is terrifying and exhilarating. I cross to the door and place my hand on the cool metal panel. I expect it to be locked, to confirm my status as a captive, but when I push, it slides open with a soft, permissive hiss. The hallway stretches out in either direction, a sterile white artery under the flat, humming glow of recessed lights. It's empty. Silent. The air is still and smells faintly of bleach. High in the corner where the wall meets the ceiling, a small black dome watches me. A camera, of course. I take a step out, then another. My hospital-issued slippers make no sound on the polished linoleum. I feel exposed, a ghost haunting the corridors of my own prison. Every door is identical, a seamless white panel with a small, rectangular window of reinforced glass set at eye level. They're all dark. Are there others like me here? Other lab rats in Thorne's maze? I walk slowly, my head on a swivel, trying to look like a man simply stretching his legs, not a man searching for an escape route. I'm listening for anything, a voice, a footstep, the whir of a cart, that might signal I'm about to be discovered. The silence is absolute, unnatural. It's the sound of control. Then I hear it, a faint sound, so soft I almost miss it. It's a low, rhythmic humming, coming from a room a few doors down. It's not a machine. It's human. I drift towards the sound, my breath held tight in my chest. I reach the door and peer through the small window. The room inside is a mirror of my own. Bed, table, window with the same view of the same placid garden. But there's a woman sitting on the edge of the bed. She's older, maybe in her 60s, with wispy gray hair that floats around her head like a halo. She's wearing the same standard-issue gray sweatsuit as me. And she's humming a tune I don't recognize, a simple, looping melody, while her hands trace intricate, invisible patterns in the air in front of her. Her eyes are unfocused, staring at the blank wall opposite her. She seems lost, a shell, another one of Thorne's broken toys. A wave of pity and horror washes over me. Is this my future? To be pacified and warehoused once the experiment is over? As I watch, her humming stops. Her hands fall to her lap,
Her head slowly turns, and her eyes, a startlingly sharp, intelligent blue, lock directly onto mine through the glass. The vacant look is gone. In its place is a flash of something raw and terrifyingly lucid. It's a look of pure, desperate warning. Her lips part, forming a single, silent word I can't make out. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the light in her eyes extinguishes, the placid emptiness returns, and she turns back to the wall, her humming resuming as if nothing ever happened. My blood runs cold. I stumble back from the door, my mind reeling. She knows. She's in there, somewhere behind the fog. She was trying to tell me something. Before I can process it, a smooth, calm voice sounds from behind me. "Lost, Alex?" I spin around. A large man in orderly scrubs stands there, smiling a bland, professional smile. He's built like a refrigerator, with a thick neck and heavy arms, but his movements are surprisingly quiet. I didn't hear him approach at all. "Just getting some air," I stammer, my voice sounding weak and unconvincing. My legs were stiff. His smile doesn't waver. It doesn't reach his eyes. "I understand. But it's best to stay in your designated area. It's almost time for your afternoon session. Dr. Thorne is looking forward to it." He gestures down the hall, back the way I came. It's not a suggestion. He walks beside me, his presence a heavy, silent warning. He's not a caregiver. He's a guard. I've seen the edges of my cage, and now the keeper is gently, firmly, putting me back inside. As my own door hisses shut, I'm left with the chilling image of the old woman's eyes. She isn't another patient. She's a prophecy. The door slides shut with a final definitive click, and the silence it leaves behind is a physical weight. It's no longer the peaceful quiet of a recovery suite, but the dead air of a containment cell. My own breathing sounds loud, ragged. I walk to the window and stare out at the garden, the same patch of manicured green I've looked at for months.
Before, it was a symbol of tranquility, of nature's healing power. Now it looks like the exercise yard of a high-security prison. Every perfect flower, every neatly trimmed hedge is part of the facade. I press my forehead against the cool glass, replaying the orderly's approach. He moved like a predator, all silent mass and coiled potential. His name is Marcus. I remember that from a brief introduction weeks ago. A friendly, forgettable face. Now that face is a mask, and underneath it is a man whose job is to keep the lab rats in their cages. His smile was the most terrifying part. It was a piece of equipment, just like his key card and his sturdy shoes. My thoughts keep circling back to the woman, the sudden, shocking clarity in her eyes. It was like watching someone break through the ice of a frozen lake for a single desperate gasp of air before being pulled back under. What was she trying to tell me? Her lips had formed a shape, a soft, voiceless word. I mouthed the possibilities in the reflection on the glass. Run? Trap? Help? None of them feel quite right. The movement was quicker, more complex. But the message behind the word, whatever it was unmistakable. It was the frantic, urgent warning of a fellow prisoner. She wasn't just a glimpse into a possible future. She was a dispatch from the front lines of a war I didn't even know I was fighting. She's been here longer. She knows what happens when Thorne is done with you. She knows what it means to be a failed experiment. The pity I felt for her curdles into a cold, hard dread for myself. The hiss of the door opening makes me jump. It's Marcus again. His smile is fixed in place. Time for your session, Alex. Dr. Thorne is waiting. He doesn't ask if I'm ready. He just stands there, an immovable object in the doorway. The walk down the hall is different this time. I am acutely aware of everything. The slight hum of the lights overhead, the scuff of my slippers on the floor, the way Marcus walks a half step behind me, a silent, ever-present pressure. I notice the small, circular scanners next to each door, the ones the staff press their badges against.
I see that the hallway doesn't have a single window to the outside world. It's a closed loop, designed to disorient, to contain. We turn a corner into a corridor I've been down before, but it feels alien now. This isn't a path to healing. It's an inmate transfer. Thorne's office is an oasis of calculated warmth. Soft lighting, rich mahogany, the faint, pleasant smell of old books and leather. It's designed to put you at ease, to make you feel safe and valued. Thorne stands up from behind his large desk as I enter, his face a perfect picture of paternal concern. "Alex, come in. Sit down. How are you feeling today?" I force my muscles to relax, to conjure a weak but hopeful smile. "A little tired," I say, sinking into the plush leather chair opposite him. It feels like sinking into a trap. But better, I think. Clearer. It's a performance. Every word, every gesture is a lie. I am an actor now, just like them. And my life depends on giving a convincing performance. I have to be the grateful patient, the successful subject, the man on the cusp of a breakthrough. "That's wonderful to hear," Thorne says, steepling his fingers. His eyes, a calm, intelligent gray, steady me from across the desk. "We're making incredible progress. The neural pathways are regenerating even faster than our models predicted. Do you feel it, the connections being reestablished?" He leans forward, his voice a conspiratorial whisper, as if we're partners in this grand discovery. As he speaks, the specific cadence of his voice, that smooth, persuasive tone, snags on something deep in my mind. It's a key, turning a lock, a flicker of a memory, not of the accident, but of this place. Of him.
It's a memory from before the fog. I'm not in a patient room. I'm in a lab, surrounded by the glow of monitors and the low hum of machinery. I'm wearing a lab coat, not a sweatsuit. Thorne is there, standing with another man I don't recognize. They're looking at a screen displaying complex brain scans, a riot of colors. My perspective is from the side, as if I were just passing by, not part of the conversation. Thorne taps the screen with his pen, indicating a cluster of fading colors. "The degradation is accelerating," he says, his voice devoid of the warmth he shows me now. It's the cold, detached voice of a mechanic diagnosing a faulty engine. "The variable is no longer viable. Data retention is compromised." The other man nods. "So we move to the next phase?" Thorne looks away from the screen, his gaze sweeping across the lab. "Yes," he says, his voice flat. "Decommission her, move her to the long-term observation wing. We can still gather baseline data on the decay." The memory dissolves, leaving me breathless. I'm back in the leather chair, the smell of mahogany filling my nostrils. Thorne is looking at me, a slight frown creasing his brow. "Alex, are you with me?" I must have zoned out. My face must have gone slack. I blink, forcing myself back into the role. "Sorry," I murmur, shaking my head slightly. "Just a dizzy spell. Sometimes the memories, they come in flashes. It's a lot." He smiles, the paternal mask slipping perfectly back into place. "Of course, it's to be expected. It's a sign that it's working." But I hear the echo of his other voice, the cold, clinical one from my memory. "Decommission her. The variable is no longer viable." The woman in the room, the humming woman with the warning in her eyes. She isn't a prophecy. She's a precedent. She's a decommissioned variable. And I now know the name of the place where they keep the broken toys. The long-term observation wing. I'm not just a prisoner trying to escape a cage. I'm a product with a shelf life, and I have to get out before I expire. The lie feels thin and brittle in the air between us, but Thorne accepts it without question. His concern is a tool, and having served its purpose, it is put away.
He leans back, the leather of his chair sighing softly. It is a sign, he repeats, his voice resonating with a self-satisfied certainty. The mind is healing itself, but the process isn't always linear. Think of it as a shattered mirror. We're not just replacing the glass, we're painstakingly reassembling the original fragments. Sometimes you'll see a clear reflection in one piece, but its connection to the others is still tenuous. He gestures with his hand, a magician illustrating a simple trick. I nod, playing the part of the captivated student. I have to keep him talking. I have to see how deep this performance of his goes. So, the gaps, they'll fill in on their own? Will I remember everything? My life before? Everything, Alex, and more, he says, his eyes gleaming with an unnerving fervor. The compound doesn't just repair, it optimizes. It clears away the debris, the useless data, and reinforces the primary pathways. We're curating your consciousness, refining it. The final product will be a mind operating at peak efficiency. No trauma, no cognitive dissonance, just pure, unburdened clarity. His words are a sales pitch, polished and persuasive, but the echo of his cold, clinical voice echoes underneath them. Decommission her. The variable is no longer viable. He's not talking about healing me. He's talking about formatting a hard drive. He wants to wipe the parts of me that don't fit his program, the parts that remember who I was, what he did.
He wants to create a success story, a walking advertisement for his work, and erase the man who knew him as a colleague, as a monster. The part of me that remembers Eris, the name surfaces in my mind with a jolt, clear and sharp. Dr. Eris Thorne. His wife, the brilliant, cautious woman from my memories. I wonder what happened to her. Did she become a decommissioned variable, too? I risk a question, couching it in the guise of a struggling patient grasping at straws. I think I remember someone, I say, letting my brow furrow. A woman working here. Her name was Eris? I let the name hang there, watching him for the slightest crack in his composure. For a fraction of a second, something flickers in his eyes. It's not sadness or loss, it's annoyance. A flash of pure, cold irritation, like a man discovering a persistent bug in his code. It's gone as quickly as it appears, replaced by that same paternal mask. Ah, he says, his voice a carefully modulated balm. My late wife. Yes, she was a foundational part of this project in its early days. It's a testament to the drug's efficacy that you're pulling up such deep-seated memories. She would have been so proud of the progress we've made, of the progress you've made. He uses her memory as another tool, another piece of his elaborate deception, but the brief flash of anger was real. He didn't like me remembering her, and that tells me everything. She wasn't a supporter of his methods. She was an obstacle. The thought triggers another cascade. I'm not in his office anymore. I'm in the stark, cold air of a server room. The noise is immense, a constant wall of sound from the cooling fans, but it feels like a pocket of silence, a place to have a conversation no one can overhear. Eris is there with me. Her face is pale under the fluorescent lights, her expression tight with anxiety. She's typing rapidly on a terminal built into one of the server racks. He's pushing the trials too fast, she says, her voice barely audible over the hum. He's skipping safety protocols, ignoring the degradation markers. He's so obsessed with a breakthrough that he's willing to break people to get it. She stops typing and turns to me, her eyes wide and serious. I built a backdoor, a kill switch, right into the core of the network mainframe. She gestures to the rack of blinking lights. If he can't be stopped, at least his data can be. It can wipe everything. The research, the subject files, all of it. But it also controls the internal security grid. A full system purge would trigger a total lockdown, but a specific subroutine, it could open a path.
She grabs my arm, her fingers digging in. You have to remember this, Alex. Just in case. It's a sequence. Alpha 7 Juliet 409er Epsilon. A7J409E. It has to be entered at the primary network terminal. This one. She taps the screen. Promise me you'll remember. Alex. Thorne's voice pulls me back. I'm in his office again, the scent of leather filling my lungs. My heart is hammering against my ribs. I have it. A key. A real, actual key. I blink, focusing on his face, forcing the adrenaline down. I'm sorry, I say, my voice a little hoarse. You were saying about Eris. I look down at my hands, feigning an emotional response. It's just a lot to process. Thorne gives me a satisfied smile, misinterpreting my reaction as a sign of his success, of the emotional connections reforming. Take your time, my boy. We have all the time in the world. His words are meant to be reassuring, but I hear them as what they are. A threat. A life sentence. The session ends soon after.
He pats me on the shoulder as I stand to leave, a gesture of ownership. Get some rest. Big day tomorrow. We're going to start the next phase. Marcus is waiting outside the door, his expression as blank as ever. The walk back to my room is a blur of new information. The key is a code. A7J409E. The lock is the primary network terminal in the server room. Now, as I look at the sterile white walls and numbered doors, I'm not just seeing a prison. I'm seeing a map I can't read. I'm looking for any sign, any clue that points to the heart of this facility, to the one place that holds my only chance of getting out alive. The silence on the walk back to my room is different now. It's not the empty, padded silence of a hospital. It's the loaded silence of a vault. Every white panel on the wall could be a hidden access point. Every numbered door could be a clue. The soft squeak of Marcus's shoes on the polished floor is the ticking of a clock I can't see. A7J409E. The code feels like a hot, smooth stone in my mind, something I can turn over and over, a tangible piece of a life that was stolen from me. Eris gave it to me. She trusted me with it. And Thorne, in his arrogant attempt to curate my consciousness, had inadvertently led me right back to it. He'd handed me the weapon she'd built to destroy him. The irony is so thick I can almost taste it, bitter and metallic like blood. I am no longer just a prisoner. I am a saboteur, waiting for an opening. The map I can't read is slowly coming into focus. I'm not just looking for an exit anymore. I'm looking for a specific place. The heart, the mainframe. Back in my room, the door clicks shut, and I'm alone with the hum of the ventilation. I pace the small space, the code a frantic rhythm in my head. Alpha 7, Juliet 409er Epsilon. I can't write it down, there's nowhere to hide it, and the daily room sweeps are meticulous. I have to trust my own mind. The very thing they're trying to hijack to hold on to this one perfect, critical piece of data. It's a strange kind of faith, putting my hope in the same broken machine that got me here. But it's all I have. The next day, I approach my routine with a new purpose. Mealtime in the common area is no longer a monotonous chore. It's reconnaissance. I sit at my usual table, pushing tasteless food around my plate, but my eyes are scanning, cataloging. I watch the staff, their movements, their habits, the hierarchy encoded in the color of the key cards clipped to their uniforms. Blue seems to be for general access, orderlies, janitorial staff. Red is for the medical wing, the nurses and doctors who administer the daily doses. But then I see it. A man in a gray jumpsuit, carrying a diagnostic tablet, swipes a black keycard at a door at the far end of the hall, a corridor I've never been down. The door slides open, and for a split second before it closes, I hear it. A deep, resonant hum, the sound of 1,000 cooling fans, the sound of the server room.
My heart kicks into a higher gear. That's it. That's the luck. Now I just need the key. A black key card. I spend the rest of the day watching that corridor, but the man in the gray jumpsuit doesn't reappear. My next interaction with Marcus feels charged with this new dangerous energy. As he escorts me back from a pointless cognitive test, I try to play dumb, a patient making an idle observation. It's funny, I say, keeping my voice light. It's funny, you can feel a weird vibration in the floor right around here. And that humming sound, I gesture vaguely toward the restricted corridor, sounds like a beehive in the walls. Marcus doesn't even turn his head. His voice is flat, devoid of any curiosity.
Focus on your own path, Alex. It's not a suggestion. It's a command. And it's all the confirmation I need. He knows exactly what's down that hall, and he knows I have no business thinking about it. The wall is solid. I can't go through him. I have to go around him. That evening, the anxiety is a physical thing, a knot tightening in my stomach. The next phase Thorne mentioned is supposed to start tomorrow. I don't know what it is, but I know it will move me further away from the man who remembered Eris, further away from the man who could use her code. My window of opportunity is closing. I'm lying on my bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to formulate a plan, any plan, to get my hands on a black key card, when my door slides open. It's not Marcus with my evening meal. It's two men I've never seen before. They're built like professional movers, their faces impassive and grim. They flaunt a medical gurney. One of them holds a syringe, not the small, discreet kind I'm used to, but a large one filled with a viscous, milky white fluid that seems to catch the light. The first man speaks, his voice a low rumble. Dr. Thorne has moved up the schedule. It's time for the next phase, Alex, an accelerated integration protocol. My blood runs cold. It's not tomorrow. It's now. They're not here to give me a pill. They're here to take me somewhere, to plug me in, to format the drive once and for all. All my plans, my hopes, the key that Eris gave me, it all turns to dust. I look from the needle in his hand to their blank, determined faces, and a primal scream builds in my chest. I have seconds. I have to do something. Now. The scream doesn't stay in my chest. It tears out of my throat, a raw, animal sound that has no place in the sterile world. In the same instant, I move. I don't go for them. I go for the gurney. I put all my weight into it, shoving the metal frame forward. It slams into the legs of the man with the syringe, who stumbles with a grunt of surprise. The syringe flies from his hand, skittering across the floor and leaving a milky trail. The second man reaches for me, but I'm already past him, a blur of desperation. My hand snags on his belt, and my fingers close around the hard plastic of his keycard. I yank hard. The lanyard snaps, and the card is in my palm as I shove him back into his partner. It's a clumsy, pathetic attack, but it's enough. It buys me a single, priceless second of chaos. I'm through the door and in the hallway before they can untangle themselves. My bare feet slap against the cold, polished floor. Behind me, I hear a shout, and then the whole world erupts in noise. A piercing, rhythmic alarm blares from hidden speakers in the ceiling. A sound I've never heard before. It's a sound of violation, of order being shattered. My order. Doors are opening along the corridor, curious and alarmed faces peering out before quickly retreating. I don't look at them. I don't look back. I just run. The white walls are a smear, the numbered doors a meaningless blur. All the observation, all the mental mapping, it evaporates in the face of pure lizard brain panic. Turn left here, right there. I'm not thinking, just moving, putting distance between me and that needle, between me and the end of myself. I can hear them behind me now, the heavy thud of their boots. They're faster than I am, better fed, not weakened by months of sedatives and psychological torment. The alarm is relentless, a soundtrack for my own frantic heartbeat. I risk a glance over my shoulder and see them, their faces grim masks of professional anger. And behind them, moving with an unnerving calm, is Marcus. He's not even running.
He's just walking purposefully, his eyes locked on me. That sight is more terrifying than anything. It's the look of a predator who knows its prey has nowhere to go. I pushed myself harder, my lungs burning, a stitch forming in my side. I skid around another corner into a section of the facility I don't recognize. The lighting is dimmer here, the air colder. The doors are different, heavier, with small reinforced windows. My luck can't last. Every corridor will eventually be a dead end. I need a place to hide, a place to think. My eyes dart from side to side, scanning for any opportunity. A door slightly ajar, a dark room, anything. I see it then. A simple, unassuming door with no number, just a small metal plate that reads, Utility. It's probably locked. They're all locked. But I have to try. I slam my shoulder against the door frame, my hand fumbling with the handle. It turns. It's open. I spill inside, pulling the heavy door shut behind me just as the sound of their footsteps echoes at the end of the hall. The room is pitch black and smells of ozone and cleaning chemicals. I press my back against the door, trying to control my ragged breathing, trying to make myself silent. My entire body is trembling with adrenaline. I can hear their voices on the other side of the door, muffled but clear. "He came this way! Check every room!" It's one of the orderlies. Then I hear Marcus, his voice cutting through the other man's panic with icy precision. No, he's panicking. He'll look for a place to hide. Seal this wing. Start a systematic sweep from both ends. He's a rat in a trap. All we have to do is close the box. The footsteps move on, their sounds slowly fading as they begin their search. I'm safe, but only for a few minutes. I slide down the door until I'm sitting on the grimy floor, my head in my hands. The box is closing. I look at my own hand, the one that's still clenched into a fist. Slowly, I uncurl my fingers. The key card lies in my palm, a small rectangle of plastic that cost me everything. In the sliver of light from under the door, I see the color. It's not black. It's red. A medical wing access card. A wave of bitter disappointment washes over me, so strong it almost makes me laugh. All of that for the wrong key? But then, another thought pushes through the despair. It's not the server room key, but it's a key. It's a piece of the map I didn't have before. It's a weapon. And as I hear the distant, methodical opening and closing of doors getting closer, I know I have to figure out how to use it. My heart is a frantic drum against my ribs, each beat counting down the seconds until they find me. The box is closing. But Marcus made a mistake. He thinks I'm a rat, an animal, running on instinct. He's half right. But the other half, the part that Eris saw, the part that this drug has painstakingly rebuilt, is thinking. The red key isn't a disappointment. It's a pivot. I can't go through the front door of the server room, so I'll have to find the back. And if there isn't one, I'll make one. I wait, listening to their footsteps recede down the opposite end of the corridor. When the sound is faint enough, I take a deep, shuddering breath, push the utility door open a crack, and slip back into the hallway. I don't run this time. I walk, hugging the wall, my borrowed red cap card held tight in my hand. Every shadow is a threat. Every distant sound is Marcus's footstep. My new plan is a desperate, insane long shot, but it's the only one I have. I need to get to the medical wing. The signage in this place is ruthlessly efficient.
I followed the small red cross symbols, moving through a series of corridors I've never seen. The facility is a maze, but it's a logical one. Twice I have to duck into an empty observation room as a pair of orderlies marches past, their faces tight with frustration. They aren't looking for a man walking with purpose. They're looking for a scared animal cowering in a corner. Finally, I reach a set of heavy double doors, a card reader glowing green beside them. My hand is shaking so badly I can barely swipe the card. The reader beeps, the light stays green, and with a heavy clunk, the magnetic lock releases. I push through and the doors swing shut behind me, sealing me in. The air here is different. It smells of antiseptic and sterile linen, a clean chemical scent that does nothing to calm my nerves. This wing is quiet, almost serene compared to the chaos I just left. It's a place of healing, but right now, it feels like the heart of the disease. I find what I'm looking for in a small, empty office. a doctor's workstation, left logged in. My fingers fly across the keyboard, navigating the facility's internal network. I'm not a hacker, but I've spent months with nothing to do but observe and learn the systems. I find the patient database. I type in my name, Alexander Volkov. My file appears on screen, and with it, a designation I've never seen, Protocol 0. I click it open. It's all there. Medical logs, dosage charts, psychological evaluations. But I scroll past all of that, down to the very beginning, to the entry logs for my first day here. And I find it. It's not a simple note about amnesia from a car crash. It's a detailed report, written by Thorne himself. It describes an unsanctioned synaptic recalibration procedure he performed on me, an experimental technique to erase specific memory clusters. The car crash was a lie, a fabrication to explain a side effects. The procedure was a catastrophic failure, wiping my entire memory and nearly killing me. He wasn't trying to fix me. He was trying to bury his mistake. This file is the proof. It's the gun. But there's nowhere to run, no one to show it to. So I do the only thing I can. I don't download it. I don't try to email it. I attach the entire Protocol 0 file to a facility-wide broadcast message. My subject line is simple. What happened to Alexander Volkov? I hit send. For a moment, nothing happens. Then a soft chime echoes from the computer. Then another from a terminal down the hall. Then another, an electronic cascade of notifications spreading through the entire building. The main alarm cuts out, plunging the wing into an unnerving silence. I know he'll come. I've just thrown a grenade into the center of his kingdom. I stand up from the terminal and wait. Less than 2 minutes later, he appears in the doorway. Dr. Thorne. He's not angry. His face is a mask of cold, intellectual curiosity, as if I'm a particularly interesting variable that has just skewed his results. Marcus is right behind him, his hand resting on something holstered at his belt. "Clever, Alex," Thorne says, his voice calm. "A little digital tantrum. You've made quite a mess." I stare back at him, my fear burning away into a cold, hard resolve. "It's over." He almost smiles. "Is it? You have no idea what you've done. That code Eris gave you, it's not just a key. It's a poison pill, a dead man's switch that will burn this entire corporation to the ground, taking decades of legitimate medical research with it. You'll destroy cures for diseases that haven't even been named yet, all for your petty revenge. Take me to the server room," I say, my voice steady. "You're going to open that door for me." Thorne's eyes narrow. "And why would I do that?"
Because right now, I lie, praying he believes me. That file is only on the internal network, but I linked it to Eris's code. The moment her program finishes its work, my entire file, the unredacted truth of Protocol 0, goes public to every news agency and law enforcement server on the planet. Your only chance to contain this is to let me in, so you can be there to try and stop it. He studies my face, searching for the bluff. He sees only the conviction of a man with nothing left to lose. He gives a slight, almost imperceptible nod to Marcus. Then he turns to me. "Fine. You want to see the engine room? Come on. Let's go see what your memory is truly worth." He turns and walks out, and I follow, with Marcus, a silent, menacing shadow at my back. We walk in silence to the black door. Thorne pulls out his own key card, a sleek black rectangle, and swipes it. The door hisses open. The air that flows out is cold, humming with the power of 1,000 machines. I step inside to the central terminal. This is it. I take a breath, and I begin to type the code Eris burned into my memory. The characters fill the screen, a language of rebellion and truth. The moment I hit the final key, the hum of the servers deepens, changing pitch. The screen flashes green and 2 words appear: upload complete. A new alarm begins to blare, not from inside the facility, but from outside. A raw, howling siren that sounds like the entire world has finally come to call. Thorne just stares at the screen, his face crumbling as he watches his life's work, his empire of lies, turn to digital ash. I did it. I avenged Eris. I expose the truth. I am myself again. But as I stand there, in the heart of the machine that remade me, surrounded by the noise of my victory, I can't help but wonder. When you finally become the person you were always meant to be, but you had to burn down the whole world to do it, are you a hero? Or are you just the last man standing in the rubble? Let us know in the comments.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. I post new stories every day.